Hello everyone, myself Jaya Karwal, Assistant Professor Political Science from SPCGC Ajmer. This is paper second or BA part second. Today we are going to study about the civil disobedience movement. So let's start. The Congress had declared at its Madras session that the political goal of the Indian people was national independence. By that time, quite a large number of congressmen were convinced of the desirability of demanding complete independence for India. They were led by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose. They had formed an independence league and carried on active propaganda in favor of Indian independence. When in 1928 the Congress met at its annual session in Calcutta to discuss the Nehru report, they urged that instead of dominion status for India, demand for complete independence be included in it. At that time, however, their proposal was defeated, yet it was decided that if Nehru report was not accepted within a year, the Congress would choose the alternative course. In October 1929, Lord Irwin, in consultation with the British government, declared that the attainment of dominion status by India was implicit in the Montague's Declaration of 1917. But the Conservative Party in Britain completely opposed it, and the Liberal Party also did not favor it. Therefore, the Labour Party, which was there in power with the help of the Liberals, chose to withdraw, and Lord Irwin could not assure the Congress that a constitution that includes the dominion status to India would be framed at the impending Round Table Conference. Then even Gandhiji was left with no other choice except to agree to the demand for complete independence. He said, "I have burned my boats." Under these circumstances, the Congress met for its annual session at Lahore on November 29, 1929. Jawaharlal Nehru was elected the president of the Congress there, and at midnight on December 31, 1929, the Congress declared Purna Swarajya at its goal. The Congress Working Committee then authorized Gandhiji to launch a program of civil disobedience with the ultimate object of attaining complete independence for India. Gandhiji wrote a letter to the Viceroy on March 2, 1930, narrating the evils of the British rule and demanded their removal. He also informed him of his decision to launch the Satyagraha campaign by making salt at Dandi, a village on the sea coast of Gujarat, in case his demand was turned down by the government. Gandhiji, in his letter, urged the government to: first one is prohibit intoxicants, second, change the ratio between the rupee and the sterling, third, reduce the rate of land revenue, fourth, abolish salt tax, fifth, reduce the military expenditure, sixth, reduce expenditure on civil administration, seven, impose custom duty on foreign cloth, eighth, accept the postal reservation bill, ninth, abolish the CID department or give its control to the citizens, 10th, release all political prisoners, 11th, issue licenses of arms to citizens for self protection. Lord Irwin paid no attention to these demands of Gandhi, warned him of the consequences of his impending action, and refused to meet him. It led to the beginning of the civil disobedience movement. On March 12, 1930, Gandhi left his Sabarmati ashram on foot with his 78 followers and reached the sea at Dandi on April 5th. There, Gandhiji and his followers made salt in violation of the salt laws. The movement to break the laws of the government spread rapidly. Lakhs of Indians were involved in it. Mostly, the activities of the Satyagrahis were confined to taking out processions, holding of meetings, picketing, boycotting of foreign goods, distributing leaflets among the people, saluting the Congress flag, withholding payment of land revenue, violating restraint orders, attempting to reoccupy Congress offices, making salt, celebrating national weeks and special days like the All India Prisoners Day, Peshawar Day, etc. The Muslims largely kept themselves aloof from this movement. However, the Khudai Khidmatgars and the Jamiat ul Ulema in Hind supported the movement. The Khudai Khidmatgars, under the leadership of Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, dominated the movement in the 9WF province. In the northeast, even Assam and Manipur were involved in the movement. In Madras, C. Rajgopalachari led the movement and travelled on foot from Trichinapalli to Vedrayam to prepare salt on seacoast. Similar efforts were made at many other places as well. Attempts were made to stop the functioning of government salt factories as well. Besides violating the salt law, boycott of foreign goods, picketing at liquor shops, non-payment of revenue, violating of forest laws, etc., were also adopted as parts of the movement at different places. During this movement, thousands of women also came out of their homes and thus the movement enjoyed widespread popularity and participation of the people. The government, as usual, resorted to merciless repression even when accepting a few incidents of violence. The movement adhered to complete non-violence. The government resorted to impose emergency ordinances. More than a dozen ordinances were passed during the course of this movement. The Congress was declared an illegal body. The measures adopted by the government to suppress the movement included arrest and imprisonment of leaders, use of excessive force, generally resorting to brutal lathi charges and firings for dispersing processions and meetings, confiscation of lands, cattle, utensils, and personal belongings, ill treatment of women and children, censorship of the press, imprisonment without trial, prohibition of meetings and processions, destruction of property, and closing down of social services, closing down of social services, similar instructions, etc. Gandhiji was arrested on May 5th, 1930. In August 1930, Sir Tej Bahadur Sapru and Mr. Jacker attempted to bring about a compromise between the Congress and the government but failed because the government insisted on withdrawal of the movement first. So that's all for today from my side. Thank you very much.